Hello, and welcome back to Linh Talks Tech. So today is a special episode. We are going to continue some highlight of some folks that make up part of the team building IT-Conductor as a startup. In the past, we had featured different folks like Winsome Payne and Vladimir, who's in Ukraine. So we just want to continue talking about people because that's a very important part of building a company. The platform is not the only thing, but the people and the passion that they have to add to, the solution that we create for customers. So today I have a special guest, Claudia Yanez. Want to say hi, Claudia?
Hi, everyone, and thank you, Lynn, for the invitation to this podcast.
You're welcome. So way back, I think last year, Claudia released a book, a first book, and I want to talk about that. See,
Mhm.
it's From Invisible to Indispensable.
Yes.
So the title of today's podcast is, the book's title, From Invisible to Indispensable, how owning your growth transform careers and also what it means for startups, right? So IT Conductor is still a startup. We are still pretty small, and Claudia was a very instrumental person in helping us grow over the years. And so I wanted to, take an opportunity to go through the book. I read it, and it was I would say, it was an easy read. I spent the weekend over a couple of days, and I read it. So I had the opportunity to, you know, look into each section that you wrote. That's very easy to follow. And it was a thought provoking as well as reflecting on your own journey. So we're not really today talking about, career in tech only. We're talking about, kind of identity and somewhat of an invisibility, taking risk, taking leadership roles, and what it takes to go from being kind of overlooked and becoming indispensable. So Claudia joined us, some years ago now, but through that journey to when she actually wrote this book is a reflection on, it's not a technical manual on how to do something. It was like, hey, you wrote a technical book. It's important for us also from my perspective. I appreciate kind of your help in how our startup works and what it means for different people. And the book today, I think it also highlight how companies can nurture people, how to help them grow versus shrink, right?
Yes.
So let's get into it. And you want to tell us a little bit how you got started? I think the first segment, it came in a way where I read the book and I said, hey, yeah, she started with the comfort trap. So what is this thing that opens up about the corporate life as a kind of a comfort trap, like quietly draining your soul? Every day you show up, very predictable pattern of doing structured things, but emotionally draining. And so we want to talk about like you can perform well at your work. It's not about like I can't do my job. You can do pretty well, but you kind of felt invisible, right? That's kind of the word. When it,
Yes.
so what was really happening there?
Yes. That was my motivation to write the book. Being in that corporate life for some years, I think I spent 8 years in the corporate life. I started when I was 20 years old as a support, and I grew in different positions inside the company. I was trying always to work hard, being on calls, having even working during Christmas, New Year, and then having the opportunity to be in a big project like is a SAP implementation and not being able to be part of because they don't see you, you are invisible for them, even though you spend a lot of your time. Not also my time in the company, also learning new skills, because for me that has been also something that really motivates me in life to learn, to be outdating my skills and not being able to be part of something that I really wanted back then, even though I had requested to be, felt um like why I'm still here if I don't have the opportunity to continue.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
So you kind of felt invisible. This kind of resonate with us. We run, a startup, and it's unstructured by nature, right? But there
Yes.
has to be something in terms of a corporate structure where you are in the tech industry. It's infamous. Right? You're very deep in the tech, and people measure you by your kind of reliability. You show up, you do reliable work, you produce code, you do support, you close tickets, and then they get rewarded for this reliability. But that doesn't mean, I think you reflected in the book, is that you are still invisible because your potential could be much greater and there's no kind of recognition of that, right? So this is one of the things about the warning sign for startups who don't recognize this, is that you're passing by talent that has a lot of potential. It's a warning sign that you're just basically rewarding reliable work, but not potential of somebody who can add. And I think that's kind of important that, well, not everybody have the same potential or the same passion to be it, but there has to be some way to kind of recognize this talent. And this recognition actually is the very important part of that. So if there's no like ability to say, hey, you look like you got the natural something for doing this, and why don't you give that a try or pick up something, without that kind of support system, I understand the invisibility, because a lot of us are great at going to school and, doing great and coming out and ticking off the box, apply for job, and then, given a set of tasks and you do it. And after a year or so, I myself, like that was like a year of just doing all the technical things they gave me. And I'm like, I'm great at this, la, la, la. And then there was comfort, right?
Yes. There's this saying in Spanish companies that you should put your t-shirt for the company. That means that the company is everything for you, that you need to work more hours even though you are not compensated for it, because the company is like your family. Sometimes they made you believe that's true, and we start giving more for this company, working harder. But sometimes you notice, okay, I'm doing all of this, but sometimes someone else is getting the credit for what I did. I'm
Mm-hmm.
still sitting behind my desk, and
Mm-hmm.
I wanted more. I wanted to grow. I wanted new challenges. But why are they not giving to me, even though I have been working hard, giving my time, my experience, all this effort? And it gets frustrated sometimes that
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
cannot do much about it.
Oh, that's a good one. I'll learn something. I'm trying to learn Spanish, so yeah, I'll take the teacher on. It's not just a company logo, but at least you can get some level of identity in it. Let's move on to the next part. So now that you see, okay, I'm kind of feeling invisible. Invisible for us doesn't mean that you're not seen, right? So obviously you go to work, they know you show up, you got maybe time card, you got people you talk to. But invisible in this sense that you mentioned is about like getting passed over for technical leadership. So despite you have capability, you're doing steady things. What happens then when you keep getting kind of passed over for opportunities because you kind of like, I think I can do this, but then you're invisible to them. Describe what kind of like not really chosen to do some of that stuff.
Yes, I think it's having like two options. You either fight for what you want or you live and find new challenges. In my case, I tried the first one. So I wanted this leadership for the SAP project. I didn't get it, but I told myself I will fight for it. I have the knowledge, I have the skills. I will join the meetings even though they don't want me there. And I will learn everything I can. So I'm going to be the person that leads this technical role, and I will make it great because I believe in me. I believe in the project. I believe in the company that they will do a successful implementation. That's what I did. And I felt great with myself that I was able to do it, that the implementation went well, the technical part went well. But once it finished, I became just the ACP basis administrator.
You're just one of those people that goes to work every day, do the same thing again, right?
Yes, and I got back to the doing the same. The next day I was doing the same support. My
Mm-hmm.
title changed, but there was still no recognition for what I did or anything. So that's when I knew that my path was somewhere else, that I needed to find new opportunity for me because I didn't feel that they value me enough to me to stay there.
Right. So I guess in that moment, you kind of feel like you instead of passively just like accepting it, something you just gonna step up and say, I don't care about my title. I'm gonna, try to step outside and don't ask for permission to do it anymore, which is very strong theme in your book, by the way. I read about, like stop asking for permission, right? If you feel like you have the attitude and the aptitude to actually do it, and you've already proven yourself being a reliable worker. This is something what I can reflect definitely in a startup like IT-Conductor, because titles this is something we hire and we put on an org chat or put out a job description, right? But as a small startup, early stages, there is no kind of formal recognition for titles. People are stepping into 50% defined work and 50% undefined work. That's a very gray line. And so we can't always have somebody available like a traffic cop to direct and assign work to people. We're like, hey, here's the bucket of stuff. We need to get this done. Guys, whatever you have time or capability, step up, right? It's great to be able to do that. But also on the other side of thing, leadership, definitely from my own learning experience, I need to look at people who have talent and shown up and constantly trying new things and recognize them for their effort. And I think that's a lesson for startups is that, yeah, are there proactive people there that, they want to do more, right? And they're waiting. They don't want to be invisible and looked over. So I think in your case, definitely there was a lot of overlooking, right? Because you already approved yourself. You already kind of step up when you were not even asked to do something, but they're not really doing anything. Great job, pat on the back, and then go back to your old things. So that is definitely a change that I think you definitely in the book I recognize that you recognize something is wrong here, and it's time to step outside of that loop, right? So that leads us into a kind of our next question I want to ask you. I think breaking the loop, that's a theme as you move from comfortable to trying something but still feeling invisible. You became SAP administrator, but nothing else changed. You're not recognized for it. You don't have any people that you're overseeing. You don't see that anything changed. You just have a title, right?
Yes, indeed.
So how did that impact you in terms of, feeling stagnant, kind of repetitive work again, back in that loop?
Yes. From that moment, I knew that I needed to change something. Sometimes we are in our comfort zone, and it's not that easy to go out of it because we have a stable job. And we know what we are doing. I know the people know me, and it's easy because I can do the work with my eyes closed because I have
Hmm.
done it for the past 8 years and I knew everything. And going out there and seeing, okay, I'm going to try something new. So sometimes people would tell you, no, why are you changing it? Because you have a stable job. You should stay there because that's safe. But if we don't take the opportunities, we don't take new challenges, we will know what else is out there and what we are capable of. I still remember when I applied to IT-Conductor, I sent my resume, but I said I will also send an email like telling them what I'm doing, and I hope I get a reply, and hopefully, and I'm happy that I got the reply.
Yeah, actually, when you apply for that, if I remember correctly, we actually got about 100 replies from one job description that we put out there. There was a lot, so I had to scan through and look through, and you fit, like I say, at some level, it's only 10% of the requirements. Like check all the boxes, but what really made difference is that when we talk to you, you already actually I could feel that you were frustrated with your current job. I could see if somebody wants to, break the loop and improve yourself in a different setting. So that was kind of obvious. So that I think the attitude and the willingness to me and again, this might be general state or statement for startups is that we don't have, unlike a very corporate structure with 10 15 ladders, and we need to be able to distinguish people who can recognize how they're going to grow and create them the ability to engage, to recognize that without a formal structure, but then also balance with the fact that, you're going to own this because we need people to own things and run with it and complete things. So at the same time, we provide opportunity, but like, hey, you can experiment all you want, but you need to own this so that we can, because it's a circle of trust. In an IT Conductor is a startup where we say, hey, whatever, we have 10, 12 people, whatever it is, everybody's trusted with something, right? And that trust is a little bit deeper than just saying, hey, here's an assignment, go do it. Because we could write the job description, just like an assignment. It's like, can you write about all the requirements down to every little word, every little detail? Probably not. For us, it's like, we need this 3 bullet points, but we need somebody to take that, own it, and break it down to something that they think is very much they can own and run with it without us having to dictate every detail. And so I think that was one of the things we recognized early on, that when you wanted to break out of this loop that you were in, yeah, I think you were ready and primed for stepping into something that's a little bit unstructured, undefined.
Yeah.
So I think maybe you were having all this stagnation and built up of frustration, wanted to be recognized to do something different. And I think that's was one of your experience you expressed, is that you wanted to grow in that. But yeah, I appreciate the fact that stepping out of that comfort zone is probably the hardest step, don't you think?
Yes, actually, it's the most harder because you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know, like, if you're going to feel well in the new company or if the expectations and are what you expected. But for me,
Hmm.
timing was perfect because I even had planned to go to San Francisco. And then we started with the process, and I was able to meet you in person. And that was great because I was able to see the passion that you have for IT Conductor. I'm really happy that I had that opportunity.
Yeah, timing was perfect. I
Yeah.
got to say that it's rare though, when you meet somebody across the pond and you had a conversation, but nothing beats kind of that real human touch and in person. So I appreciate all that. It was definitely, I would say, one of the things that really stood out in terms of once you start breaking that comfort zone, not only dealing with somebody like a startup that's completely unknown, somebody with background unknown. It's not like we're like the famous somebody, that you already know. So you took a lot of risk. I would say when we talk about stepping out comfort, is there's a lot of risk involved, right? It's not risk free. Team that was just beyond me as well, right? Let me the team. There's like different people from different places, different cultures, different languages. So that's a lot. So I I'm glad that you went through that, but I just wanted to recognize the fact that you took on a big risk there in terms of stepping across. So there was a lot of pin-up frustration for you to even make that such a big leap.
Yes, I'm not going to lie about it. I was very nervous about what I would do there. Will we, the one that they are looking for something funny? The day that we were going to meet, I woke up at 2 a.m. to tell them I'm ready to go.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yes, and my sister was there. She was like, "It's 2 a.m. Go back to sleep. It's tomorrow."
Oh, that's good. Yeah. So I also, yeah, I think we met and it was good that you had a trip plan. So I was like, oh, this is perfect. Okay. But I think that the experience you felt is actually quite something good to share with. I think that a lot of people are in that boat where you have to weigh that I want to change, but this is such a big jump. Sometimes people don't like to make a big change. They want to just little change, little change. Sometimes you do have to make that big leap in order to even get out of your own little circle, right? Otherwise, you just bounce off the edge of the bubble and you end up back in a bubble again when you make these little changes. So I applaud you for that. That was very risky of you. One of the things that startups, even here, people in Silicon Valley talk a lot about is like it is a very risky thing. Some average people might end up 4 or 5 different startups before they land something that was a little bit longer lasting. So it's not for everybody, but for those who are looking for something to ignite their passion and if they have something to contribute and they want to keep learning, jump into all different areas. I have friends who work in high tech, then they jump to biotech, and then they jump to climate change, all these things because they feel like the job, the title, the pay is not everything, right? It has to fulfill other purpose, your values as well. So this is kind of that thing that goes beyond the job description. Anyway, so let's go and talk about what is the ambiguity of starting IT Conductor? How did you move from joining us as just like an SAP administrator? And I grossly underwrote the job description. So give us a little bit of people who read this book will find out that you change pretty quickly, even after you jump that big jump.
Yes, I still remember the first months that I was catching up about IT Conductor, reading the documentation. I was still not sure what I needed to do. I had this meeting with you and David. You were great, explaining me everything. And then I met the team and people from Ukraine, Nepal. It was Australia, around everywhere in the world, Filipinas. And it was great because I was able to see different kind of people, work with them, see, okay, we think different, but it's nice because I can learn from them. I can see other ways of work as well. And then few months later, you give me this challenge to be product manager. I was not sure what will it be.
Just out of the blue, hey Claudia,
Yes.
what's this product manager do?
Yes, and you trusted me with that, and I wanted to make you proud that that I'm going to be able to do all these tasks, that I'm going to be able to lead these Scrum meetings and everything. I feel like you gave me all these opportunities, and I was trying to deliver as best as possible. And I even learned them. Okay, let's write blogs. I have never written a blog on my life, but
That could be a stepping stone for you to write this book, isn't it? Like
yes,
start writing.
indeed, that helped me a lot because I learned
Mhm.
to write in this blog form and also to create videos. I created my first video about the SQL, the MySQL monitoring. I still remember that one.
The first product that we made you product manager on is actually the SQL Server monitoring, because some of our SAP customers wanted, their SQL Server. They said, "Don't forget us over here with all the HANA stuff going on." But I remember that, so yeah, it was a very good contribution. The beauty of there is that it was ambiguous, but not a threat to you to fulfill that because I saw the potential. The perfect thing is to invite you to come and say, hey, I have technical skills. I know about SQL Server Manager, but to elevate from knowing something and creating something to work with it, but also explaining something to developers, R&D, to potential customers to write and talk. So it's one thing to do, day-to-day technical work. It's completely a different thing altogether to explain it, right? So in a
Yes.
large company, what typically happen is you'd have, marketing team, you have product management team, you have R&D team, you have customer facing teams, requirement gathering, in a small startup, we don't have that. And we want to say that the product manager actually owns that. We talked about that, right? But owning that
Yes.
thing from the beginning of what is the requirements, what is going to actually be needed versus 1,000 wish. And then how do we package this something into something that is commercially viable and explain it, write about it, video, demo, everything. I put a lot on you. I said, okay, we're gonna go through all this and eventually end up with a product demo and a webinar and a blog and everything else. So congratulations, you did step up and did a lot of things that I was not surprised by the way, but just saying, this is a unique thing where you were prepared and the opportunity was presented and you step right up to it. So it's, really stepped up to meet the opportunity. And I think that was a very thing where leaders need to be able to say, go ahead, right? Don't worry about it. I think you'll be great at this. Your resume has nothing in it for this, but I see the capability and here's the opportunity. Just go do it. So that's kind of how I saw you step up right up and took that. And next thing you know, it's amazing. You were doing, I think at the time, you were doing both product management, you were doing also Scrum Master, project management work. You were also writing content. You were producing demo videos at the same time running some support tasks. So I
Yes.
just wonder how did you do all that?
Yes, when something um when I find something I like, I feel motivated to do it. That challenge me to do better. When you told me to be the leader on these sales meetings for this Mexican customer, at first I was freaked out. Like, would I know what to do? I have heard Lynn doing this several times. Hope I can do it well, but then I delivered and I felt okay, I was able to do it and
Hmm.
it felt great because that motivation, that the passion that you give to IT Conductor is something that reflects, I think, not only me, also to the other members of IT Conductor.
Yeah, and you did very well. I would say that most people do freak out. So you're not alone. Most people do freak out when they put as the main person to present in a sales presentation. Because think about it, a company without sales doesn't exist, right? There's no revenue and there's no customers. So it's a high pressure job. I don't envy any sales people in doing this. But what was unique about you is because I saw the opportunities. The fact is that it's rare that you find somebody who can do a sales presentation that can back it up with a technical know-how knowledge because you saw, you know what the requirements are, you know what went into creating a solution, you know how it works intimately. So this is a unique set of skills, a combination of skills that was essentially needed to fulfill all of the hats, right? Product
Yeah.
management, marketing, R&D, technical, administrative support. So we got a great deal. You fulfill so many hats, and I really appreciate. And I saw the growth and the acceleration of when you joined, and you were very kind of shy and which is normal. But I think the speed that you took on this kind of thing and not having to be micromanaged, which is not my style. I don't, I hate micromanagement, is to just give people with capability and the attitude to say, go do it. Like, I don't care if you fail, just try it. Right. So I think that's in your book. I think I saw you reflect on that, being able to like give the kind of the blank canvas, as you put it, to be able to just artistically pull a bunch of things together and create something out of nothing, which is great. Really well done. So I
Mm.
think, what did you learn from that? What do you have in advice for people who get this opportunity once every now and then? If what do you say to those people?
That is great because you start knowing yourself, you know what you like, what you don't like, you start exploring new skills that maybe you thought, I have never seen myself writing blog posts or writing a book. But maybe that skills is something I had in me, I didn't know about it, but if I don't try it, I won't know it. So it's good to just go there, challenge yourself and do the things that we are motivated to do. Even though it's out of our comfort zone, I think it's good for us to learn new skills, also to learn from ourselves. Like, I would never write this book if I wouldn't have the opportunity to write blogs
Hmm.
and learn
Hmm.
all of this.
Yeah, and I want to also highlight, not only that you achieve this from a professional standpoint. I know work environment isn't always ideal. I know a lot of us live in different parts of the world, have different struggles, locally, politics, and just safety. So I do also recognize that at the time you were working out of Ecuador, it wasn't always the ideal place to work from, safety and or instability. That's also something we're very conscious of because I remember, I think a couple of times you're like, oh, I'm going to go visit somebody. I'm going to be Europe or Canada or whatever it was. I'm like, hey, go. That doesn't sound great where you are right now. You go somewhere else and work. So the beauty is that you didn't skip a beat. I mean, you could be working from some other country, God knows where, at different time zone, and that flexibility that you have is really, I would say, one of your superpower. I was like, wait, didn't you go to like a Taylor Swift concert or something and stay up
Yeah.
party till 2 a.m. And what are you doing here? Like, 7 a.m. in a meeting or whatever. Again, if I travel, I know I get jet lag and all that stuff. And I think you show a lot of, I would say, strength and also resiliency, as well as a lot of, I would say, capability that to flex, right?
Yes.
It's almost like the superhuman power of flexing different types of juggling jobs and personal life and things like that. So I was very impressed. Very impressed.
Yes, I think that was the beauty of remote working, that you can do it everywhere because we are an international team, and taking my laptops to somewhere else, it was amazing experience because I was able to do my work, something I love to do, and also to travel. That is my second thing that I love to do. So I
Yeah.
was in new cities with my laptop. I was happy because I'm doing a job I really enjoyed, but
Mhm.
eating my gelato at the same time.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, this is it. And anybody listening to this who thinks like, "Hey, joining startup is so dangerous," and but think about the perks of just freedom of micromanagement. You have your own flex time. You work whenever you want, and take off 3 day weekend. Go see Taylor Swift.
Yes.
Well, yeah,
I
what
think
what what we can't pay in security and pay, we do have other perks that are recognizable in if you are that kind of person who I want to put on and do different things, not fit so neatly in the box, right? So that I can see the transformation and the growth that you have in a very short time too. So absolutely amazing there. So for companies like us, like IT Conductor, small, we have to look at this from individual standpoint. Because we don't like have a HR department that, assess everybody and put them in the right place. And it's more about sometimes it's called instinctive, right? I am a kind of a instinctive by nature in leadership in what I do, and say, oh, this person has that capability, and they're so passionate. I give this spiel all the time about joining a startup like us. One of our core values is like having passion, right? Having the ability to innovate, and I don't mean like innovate like an inventor of something. Could be a small thing, like always looking for better ways to do something. So that passion and innovation, and then the compassion, because you are compassionate. You put yourself in your colleague's shoes, you put yourself in a customer, you put yourself in a vendor, whatever it is, in their shoe, and think about it from their perspective. That compassion helps a lot, because when we talk about small company, we talk to customers, and again, our customers are like enterprise, Fortune 5,000 companies. They're big customer, public companies, right? How do you compete against a multi-billion dollar competitor that has unlimited marketing budget and sales and support? It comes down to a lot of what we talked about. How do you show up with passion, innovation, and this compassion to really change the way that they see working with a smaller innovator? And that comes from people, because remember, passion doesn't just grow on trees or corporate thing, right? That comes from people. They bring the passion with them. And innovation is just also an idea. When we throw out an idea, we have no idea how it's going to land. But everybody who adds some idea into it, that's what a product manager kind of nurture that thing, and then makes it kind of step across the border into cross-functional to grow the innovation. So yeah, I think you check all that box. It's perfect for a startup. Now let's go move on a little bit more. In the book, a little bit, you talked about being kind of the only woman in the room. Tell us about like that experience, and I guess that's also a big topic. It may not be just woman, but gender. It may be race, ethnicity, languages, religion, whatever. That people today sometimes will cringe because they feel like they're feeling alone in a workplace environment.
yes, based on my experience, like I study informatics, that sometimes people think that that's a career that only men pursue, but
Mhm.
nowadays it's something that both women and men are studying informatics. They're enjoying the career, but sometimes I was in an environment that I was around only men, corporate men taking the decisions, and I was the only woman sitting there. Maybe my opinions for them were not what they really were looking forward to hear, and I felt invisible in that way, that I wanted to speak up. I have this idea, but they only saw me like, you're too young, you're a
Mhm.
woman, maybe we'll leave other people that have more experience than you to take actions and decisions. For me, it was not easy to be like that, because I think I have too many ideas to tell everyone, and sometimes I want to automate processes, or I have everything that I would like to tell, but I'm afraid to do it because maybe they will notice me. But working by an IT conductor for me was different because we were all
Hmm.
the same. You value our opinions and what we wanted to do. Give us this freedom for us to work. You want to try that? Go ahead, tried it.
Hmm.
If it doesn't work, it's okay. That's how it works. We learn from our mistakes or from our errors. Like, it's something great to be part of under a leadership that values every person in the group. Even though I'm a woman, I'm from this country, I have this age. That's something
Hmm.
amazing about having a great leadership.
Oh yeah, I recognize too that this could be an age discrimination thing. It could be a gender. It could be anything, background. So one of the things I do recognize, and this is kind of how IT Conductor was not only the team that was built like this intentionally around the world, but one of the great ideas of IT Conductor that I want to see flourish is building on top of this is the ability to tap the people resources around the globe because we recognize it's see IT Conductor is a platform not only to address kind of like the customer automation and management need, but beyond that, what I do think is there's a lot of untapped talent around the world for people to be the remote eyes and ears and hands, right? And they may not have opportunity where they live in their local logistics and culture and family. And instead of uprooting people and moving them to some place so just so they can work, if you have a way, and that's what I was believe IT Conductor could be, is a delivery platform to allow people from all cultures, all nationality, all gender, age around the globe who have this passion that we talk about and who wants to make a difference. Let's say, for instance, you have an idea and you want to create an app to do something, but in your local place, there's no opportunity. There's maybe five companies, and you don't have the opportunity. I feel like this is one platform where the rest of the world can contribute to providing, making an idea, creating a solution, offering that to customers around the globe, and then be the service entry point for that. Think about like an Apple store, right? Just like create all kinds of apps and blah blah blah. So this is one idea for IT Conductor that I think resonates with me thinking about people that have different age and gender that, they may not have the opportunity they do wherever they live today and work. But if they have that opportunity, the world is a giant place. All the possibility is so good that, we could add value to not having the restriction that typically are places and the regular gender and nationality, even background, upbringing, age, whatever.
Yes.
So I do see that, and we don't really care. I mean, most of the time we have. Funny enough, it's like globally we have meetings, but we never put on video, right? People like I could be in bed having a meeting. I don't want to. So we're totally okay with that. Not important. That's important is people show up and they voice, they have the input, but how you look and how old you are and what that doesn't matter, right? It's just that's overall it's like zero, and it matters zero to us. So I think that's something to take away from building a company culture in a global. So you may build locally, but you grow globally, and that's how it works for us. That's how we think about this kind of, and again, you contribute to that, having that thought process. So that kind of like where we talked about our segment of remote work and global identity. I know you had a chapter in there that highlights something important that really allows you that flexibility to step outside of your room and go anywhere you want to, right?
Yes.
How did that change? I was curious because you did mention this like sleeping patterns and all kinds of things that, time zones and trying to figure out like, oh, am I going to be able to make that meeting at whatever 5 a.m. my time, whatever. Right? What was the impact of that on your own kind of personal life?
Yes. For me was as I came from a company that I was feeling an 8 to 9, 8 to 5 uh, job, and of course doing on calls. I was used to be up in random time of the day. So when I joined, knew we have these two meetings so we can cover America part of Europe and then also Australia, because we also have people
Mm-hmm.
that was living there, and we have two meetings. For me, being in America was easy because I was able to do both. But sometimes, okay, we need to meet with the team that is in Australia. We need to fix a
Mm-hmm.
time, and for me, it was maybe 2 a.m., 10 p.m. But as I was passionate about what I was doing, for me was okay. Let's do it. But for
Mm-hmm.
example, when I went for Europe for vacations, for me, it's not that easy to wake up early, to be honest. And sometimes, okay, these meetings were at 5 a.m., but okay, but I'm here, I'm doing my work, I want to deliver. I will wake up at that time because
Mm-hmm.
that's how I want to contribute. I want to do the best way I could for the company because I was motivated to do it. So for me, it was great because I also love the team, how the dynamic, even though sometimes, well, we're giving too many ideas and maybe the meeting felt quiet, but it was not quiet because no one were listening, because people were listening, trying to make up, okay, we can do this, the other, and it was great because we were all contributing to something good.
Or maybe they're quiet because they're actually in bed. It's their bedtime. Can disrupt their other partner. Yeah. That's why I said it's actually I recognize this to be one of the difficult things. Global is great and kind of we don't scale it accidentally. It's very intentional, kind of like this global thing. But we also have to respect borders. Like it's just too early. Like I know David, he doesn't get up early, but he stays up really late. So I'm not gonna create a meeting for him at 5 a.m. Pacific time, even though I can meet people at 5 or 6 a.m. So having different people to cover, and this is why for me it's also important to have people wear different hats and have backups. I always think about plan B, right? Like I don't expect somebody at 2 a.m. to wake up and do a demo call, but I need to be able to have somebody else step into that shoe. So we know humans are not 100% replaceable, right? We're not like robots. Everybody has a slightly different thing. Even though we have the same script, we may say slightly different. We may pause. We may, do things. So even though we try to do a demo, I try to, in the very early beginning, tap on people's shoulder. Like, oh no, I don't want to speak in front of a customer demo. But intentionally, I try to spread it out because for this same reason, it's like we need to be able to have somebody sleep when it's their sleep time because somebody else need to pick it up and do it. Oh, of course, it's not 100% the same, but over time, it will fall into it, and it, in the grand scheme of things, doesn't really matter much the small details. It's just showing up. Like, I think one of the themes in your book that you talk a lot about is actually just showing up. Right. It's not about different thing here and there, but showing up makes like maybe 50%. I want to talk about a little bit about that if you can, just the idea of showing up.
Yeah. I still remember that you were always telling me you don't have to be in the 2 a.m. meeting because I know it's not your time zone. But sometimes I was like, I want to be there because I want to know what is happening. But I think I learned with time that, okay, the meetings are recorded. I can sleep because we
Mm-hmm.
need to do it. But at first, I remember that you were always telling me you don't have to be in this meeting. It's too late for you. But it was great that the support that you gave to each member of the team. You knew, okay, she is in Ecuador, he is in Ukraine. That is his time zone. You care about each of us as persons, not only as employees, and that's great to see in a leader. Like, he cares about his people, like he wants everything to be healthy for them as well.
That's one of the things I wanted to say intentionally is like just because I'm up most days, most nights, because technically I'm still a basis guy, right? I do love leader, company, and all these different things do for as a company founder. But I still do technical work every day. I do client facing work. I do because I feel like no, I don't need to do it, but I want to do it because it stays grounded in my I would say everyday work that keeps me intentionally occupied with technical things that are important to customers, and also be able to work with our team and talk, technicals. Because the day that I unplug and start doing all management thing and not really stay in touch with the technical things, I start losing that communication ability to connect with people and talk about requirements and what products do and this. So just because I'm like that and I can get, up at 2 a.m., maybe working on an upgrade or whatever, it doesn't mean it's okay to expect it from you guys or the team. So I wanted to make that point very early on. Like I said, hey, it's okay, go to sleep, whatever. You can look at the recording, and now we have AI and stuff like that, transcribe and all that stuff and summarize. But yeah, um, I think that's great. Is like to have the option, but not forcefully. So don't just do it because I'm up at some weird time of the night. I like to answer questions from customers. Like last night, we got a question from a customer on some renewal. It's like 2 a.m. or something because they're in Asia Pacific or whatever. I didn't have to answer. I could answer in the morning, but I put them myself in their shoes, and I like, okay, it doesn't cost me anything just to reply, yeah, I'll take care of it in the morning. But I don't expect other people to do that. You know what I mean? It's like
Yes.
that's my work ethics, but I don't mean like you guys have to do that. I'll answer when it's time to sleep or whatever. So I think it's a delicate balance between what people do as long as it's not mandatory. And
Yes.
so we have this great thing called optional. You can optionally attend if you like, or just click optional so that you will get notified that there's a recording. But it's totally okay not to be there because in the grand scheme of things, as long as we have representation from somebody, then it's fine. But if not, we reschedule, right? People understand. It's hard for me though for meetings, things like India time zone. It's really hard because it's like almost 12-hour different. And, like 9 a.m. there, it's like 9 p.m. here, and blah, blah, blah. Certain parts of the world, wherever we live, sometimes it's really hard. So it's okay to reschedule because they know as well. Sometimes the customer asks us for a meeting and it's like 6 a.m. in the morning here. And I said, well, could we move it like a little bit later? And because we don't ask, we just assume, oh, we should just keep that time. But all we got to do is ask. And if they're okay, they can go home and have their dinner and have the meeting at like 8 p.m. there, which is like 8:30 here, which is fine.
Yes.
So I think in the book, you also kind of saying like sometimes you don't need to ask for permission. You just do it. And sometimes like, okay, I don't need to ask for the time of a meeting. I just propose this time. And guess what? They accepted it. So it's okay. So that's important to learn as well. One of the lessons you have in the book, I think the greatest takeaway is like, if you ask for permission, and I say this all the time to you guys also when we do marketing stuff, I'm like, hey, let's stop asking for permissions. We can ask for forgiveness afterwards.
Yes, indeed.
And we've done that, and both times it works. Sometimes it doesn't, and it's okay. If it doesn't, then we ask for forgiveness. People like, okay, whatever. But it's been great to talk to you, and I wanted to kind of summarize up. It's a great, easy read for people if you want to go and grab it. If you're on Amazon, Kindle, like electronic copy, whatever. I don't have time to read a lot, so I appreciate the fact that it was like a really easy read, but it was all these nuggets that you break down in each chapter. Like, what would you do? Are you in this phase? Make the change now. So those prompts really kind of are useful. I think those people that may echo those sentiments, give them a little push. And I recommend highly for folks to just pick up and say, yeah, at some point in our career and life, we've probably been through this where we feel like stuck. And I think this book really kind of opens up from your personal experience. And I appreciate you sharing your personal experience. It's not easy to talk about your personal things in a corporate world, unfortunately. We
Yes.
try to do it. So I want to give you like your final thoughts and things on the book that you want to share with the audience.
Yes. First of all, Lynn, I want to thank you to reading my book. That is great that you have time for it. I know you are very busy. So thank you again. And of course, I wrote this book because being in the comfort zone sometimes is easy and taking new challenges is scary. But sometimes if we don't do it, we won't know what is out there for us. And there's a lot of things to do in this world that maybe we don't try it because we are scared of the outcome. But sometimes it's just let's do it. And if I fail, that's okay. We all fail in some times, but if we have this motivation to, okay, I failed this time, but I will step up and do it again until I do it right. I think that's something great for everyone to know ourselves, to know what I like, and to have this motivation to do everything that we are scared to do in our life.
Well, that's great. If work could be a playground, it's great. Everybody would look forward to coming to work every day. When we were kids, we get to play in the playground and have fun at the same time. I want to mention that I didn't schedule this podcast with you because of the book. And I just want to, mention this, but people who read it, like, okay, there was actually a mention of me in there. And it wasn't because of that I actually want to talk to you. I just wanted, I think you wrote a book and I thought it was a great theme that I wanted to actually highlight and share with people and share with the kind of people that help build IT-Conductor. And I hope in your personal journey, you've obviously discovered yourself that you have all these capabilities and untapped superpower. And I wish you very well there. And hopefully a lot more books coming, the other chapters of your career and life. And some of the takeaway I do want to kind of reiterate from the book standpoint is comfort is not growth, right? Having comfort, that doesn't mean growth. You show up every day. It's not. The other thing is in a corporate world, titles really don't define your path or your trajectory in life. It's really your goal that drives it and your passion to plan it out and intentionally move towards that. And doing so also risks revealing your kind of identity, right? You need to define who you are, not a copy of somebody else, but who you are, and find a place where people trust you, that people can support and trust your ability to try something, to fail, to learn from it, and to do it again. Sometimes I tried 9 things 10 times before I would learn. They say 10,000 hours is how you become an expert. Hopefully in the age of AI, we won't need 10,000. Maybe we can cut out 5,000, but you still need to sweat and learn from it and build that experience. That's what leaders value people for. And once I want to recognize also that this visibility works both ways. It fuels the performance of the team. That to have visibility means that we can ask people to do it. They can feel comfortable to do it or not do it. It's totally okay to say no, right? It's like, I'm not comfortable in this. Or maybe if you show me how, just a little bit of guidance, great. Then ask for it. Don't just take the work and too scared to ask for guidance. So sometimes we ask somebody to step up and they not ask for guidance. And they can go away and fail. But if they ask for guidance, we'll gladly give it and say, hey, in this direction. So this is why I like also people nowadays. You don't need to produce the whole result. You can produce a little bit of it and say, is this, I'm on the right track or not? Right? It's okay to steer a different way. So this is kind of an expansion environment. I think that it was great that you stepped out and actually joined a startup because it helped us grow and you kind of design the rest of your career around this. And we wish you luck in the rest of your career and journey personally. But it was very intentional. You made the move, took the risk, and I think you're doing well. You are well on your way to a very, very productive career and hopefully enjoying everything that you do. So let's create a company culture and a personal growth career that involves a lot of risk taking, learning, and having passion to love what you do. So you show up every day. I have flexibility to take time off, go, see and do things you like. And maybe then we'll create the next generation of leaders who will do similar for other people as well.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you, Claudia.
Thank you,
All
Lynn.
right.
It was
All
great.
right. We'll see you guys on the next episode of Linh Talks Tech. And today was a little bit more career focused, but we have other things great planned for you guys. Thank you very much.